this one was maybe the most powerful one that I've seen.
Iranian woman here. It's become very apparent that you haven't been listening to anything that we've had to say for the past 2 years. But I was wondering if you could just lend me a few minutes of your time in this ungodly hour to hear us now. We've had to watch over the past 24 hours people clambering onto the internet to exclaim that Iran has the right to defend itself. In what capacity have you distorted this story to make the Islamic Republic the victim? That's I think what we're most curious about. When we were screaming for the past 2 years that they were lynching us, where were you? When we were screaming that they were killing Iranian women for not wearing a hijab, where were you? When they were lynching Iranian men from cranes for protesting, where were you? When we were explaining that this is a terrorist occupying force, where were you? But all of a sudden, everyone's graduated from Instagram School of Law to say that this is a violation of international law and Iran has the right to defend itself. First of all, you're not talking about Iran, you're talking about the Islamic Republic. What the Islamic Republic does is not a reflection of the Iranian people. We've been clear about what we want, which is peace. Second of all, you may have discovered the Middle East yesterday, but the Middle East didn't start existing yesterday. If you want to talk about an act of war, just a few days ago, a federal court determined that the attacks on Israeli embassies and Jewish centers in Argentina were conducted by the Islamic Republic and Hezbollah. That was in the 90s. That was in the 90s. Was that an act of war? How about the terror proxies that the Islamic Republic has created to foster regional instability? What did you think that they were there for? What did you think Hezbollah was there for? Hamas, Houthis, the militia groups in Iraq and Syria. Did you think that they were there to instigate a system of public schooling, education, to feed the poor, house the unhoused? What did you think that they were there for? If you had listened to us for the past 2 years, much less the past 45 years, you'd know that Iranians don't want war with Israel. We want peace with Israel. Iranian people inside of Iran have come out and said this over and over and over again. It's you that wants war with Israel. It's your hatred for Israel and your hatred for Jews that's pulling us into a war that we didn't ask for. Have we not suffered enough for the past 45 years that we now have to be used as pawns for your fantasies about war with Israel? Leave us alone. We don't want that.
Wow, she's quite good. Do you know her from before this? I think she was on the cover of today's New York Post, actually, because of that video. But I hadn't seen the video until just now, yeah.
Huh, I haven't seen the New York Post side of things. I was unfamiliar with her until I saw this video. She is an attorney here in the United States, but I think she was raised in the UK. Obviously, she's ethnically Iranian and her family is originally from Iran. But that's actually like some snippets of that video. It's much, much longer. We just couldn't play the whole thing on the show today. The whole time I'm like, yes, yes. Why do more people not have the very basic common sense and logic to unpack stuff like this, especially this terror proxy side of things? She's saying, what did you expect was like the function of Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis and the Taliban and ISIS? Like, did you think they were there to house the homeless or feed the hungry or clothe the naked? Like, where did that come from?
There was so much good stuff there. First off, I love she said the Instagram School of Law. Those of you who have graduated from the Instagram School of Law, which basically everyone online is now an expert in absolutely everything at all times. If something happens, everyone has to comment on it. And like most of these people wouldn't know how to put Velcro shoes together. I like that she said that that the Middle East didn't start a couple years ago because people have such a deep lack of understanding of the Middle East and the British Empire and the Ottoman Empire and all the rest of it. But you know, to the point on the proxies, which she made a great point. Like they're not there. They do schooling and things, but it's to teach. It's to teach the authoritarian ways of the mullahs and these organizations. But Hezbollah, which basically it's a terrorist organization, it's an Iranian terrorist organization that runs Lebanon used to be 80% Christian. I think it's down to about 20% Christian now. So the Christians have fled. It's become a largely Muslim majority nation run by an Iranian terrorist organization that has hundreds of thousands of rockets facing Israel, and since October 7th has been shooting rockets in every day. So everyone's like, oh, this new version of the war just started a few days ago because Israel shot a rocket into Syria and killed this Iranian general. It's like, well, they've been literally shooting rockets into Israel every day from Lebanon, Hezbollah from Lebanon, since October 7th. And they're obviously not supposed to be there. UNIFIL, the United Nations coordination group on the ground in Lebanon, is supposed to be there to make sure that it's a demilitarized zone, basically South Lebanon. And they don't do their job, surprise, surprise, because the UN is deeply corrupt. She just laid out a lot of truth there. She's really good. I'm going to follow her and see where she goes with all this.
You're right. And we're not just saying that, by the way, as propaganda. You and I both on different occasions have been to northern Israel right on the border with Lebanon and seen Hezbollah outposts and literally watched terrorist activity be unfolded right before our eyes on the border with Israel. So you're right. The United Nations is not doing their job. And I just wish more people had the chance to actually see that and get to touch things with their own hands, get to understand the larger geographical and historical context of this. Part of the video that we cut out to fit that clip in the show today, when she's talking about the Middle East didn't just start yesterday, was really powerful. She was saying all of these modern debates that we're having about religious tolerance and freedom of expression and all of these things, the Middle East has been trying to iron out those questions for thousands of years, long before your society ever even existed. So I'm really sick of watching these stupid American Instagrammers try to talk about how they are the perfect moral authority on all of this when they literally have no idea what they are talking about, but especially lack the historical context of everything that these groups of people have been working through for quite literally thousands upon thousands of years.